So what if the things his supporters cheer him for are the very things he fails at? What if the strongest applause lines, law and order, he protected us from lockdowns, he fights the elites, he's for the working class, what if they start to fall apart when you actually lay out the record? Let's walk through that, not to dunk, not to provoke, but because if we want to understand the stakes ahead, we need to be willing to look clearly at the story we're in. Start with the big one, law and order. For years, Trump built his identity around that phrase. But on January 6th, there were 187 minutes between the end of his speech and his video telling rioters to go home. And even then, the message was conflicted. Go home, we love you, you're very special. There's no evidence he ordered the National Guard to intervene. Defense officials later testified that a call from the president could have sped the response, and it never came. If law and order means anything, it has to mean protecting the law when it costs you, not just when it serves you. Now think back to 2015. Jade Helm, a routine military training exercise, sparked right-wing panic about martial law. The governor of Texas even sent the state guard to monitor federal troops. The fear was, what if the government turns on us? Fast forward. In 2020, Trump threatened to deploy the military into American cities under the Insurrection Act, and in 2025, he's floating it again, promising crackdowns in so-called Democrat-run cities and facing legal pushback for it. So, when Obama was president, training exercises were treated like tyranny. When Trump talks about using real troops on American streets and does so, it's rebranded as strength. Same Constitution, different jersey for some. Here's another one. The COVID shutdown narrative. A lot of folks, Joe Rogan, still say they locked us down. They wrecked the economy. But Trump was president during the entire first year of COVID. He declared the national emergency. His White House issued the initial 15 days to slow the spread, then 30 days, then a phased reopening plan. Yes, governors made the legal calls about closures. That's how federalism works. But the early national tone came from the top. And not long after, Trump was tweeting, "Liberate Michigan," blaming Democratic governors for following the very guidance his administration promoted. That contradiction never really got resolved. It just got absorbed into the slogans. And then there's our friend, Epstein. His death in federal custody in 2019 happened under Trump's Justice Department. The Bureau of Prisons was found to have committed multiple serious failures: falsified logs, inattentive guards, broken security cameras. And since then, Trump has taken multiple positions. He said he supports full transparency. He's also mocked the people calling for more disclosure. The documents released so far have been partial and controversial. And if the outrage is real, it has to be consistent. You can't demand accountability from them, but not from the system when it is yours. And finally, for now, there's the image. Trump as the champion of the working class. That brand helped carry him into office, but in the last 2 years, his paper net worth has risen by several $billions, largely due to the stock market performance of Trump media. And that surge wasn't driven by policy. It was a speculative market spike. But the optics still matter. Because while wages struggle to keep up with inflation, the working class, and while rents rise and unions fight for basic leverage, the working class, the man branding himself as their champion has become exponentially wealthier. That tension doesn't disprove everything, but it asks a question. Quick plug here, I'm hosting a Zoom Salon on Thursday, November 6th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's not necessarily about this very question in this video, not just about Trump or about any of these particular stories and how they override all the facts. But it is about that general sense. What can we learn from the past? What stories have we completely forgotten? What have we betrayed in our communities and in our trust with one another? And if you would like to join, the details are at the link that you see somewhere here on screen. And it's not going to be a speech, but it'll be a conversation. 30 minutes, and there will only be 8 people plus myself at the most. I hope to see you there. So here's the deeper truth. When politics becomes identity, it becomes harder to admit when the story breaks. It's easier to move the goalposts than to reevaluate your team. But leadership isn't branding, it's not vibes, and it's not vengeance. It's restraint. It's transparency. It's what you do under pressure, not what you say at a rally. So here's another question. If a leader's story only works when you look away from the receipts, do you want the story? Or do you want the truth?